It's funny how things change. When I first started collecting for the NES, I only collected boxed games. Then I decided that was too difficult and I'd collect loose games. Now it seems it's gone full circle, as this time we found a lot of boxed NES games. This year sees the 40th anniversary of my life, and 2025 sees the 40th anniversary of the iconic Nintendo Entertainment System. And to celebrate these two milestones, I wanted to build my dream NES collection and prove the only reason we grow old is because we stop playing. This is the NES Top 40 at 40. Hello again folks, and welcome back to the NES Top 40 at 40. My quest for 2025 to try and build my dream NES collection of 40 games to celebrate not only the 40th anniversary of one of the most iconic consoles of all time, but the 40th anniversary of myself. And this time we are back on the hunt and nearing the tail end of this challenge, so it's all to play for to see how many NES games we can find this time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday night at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week, and I really want you folks along for the ride. If you want to go above and beyond and support the channel even more, come and join the Dan the Games Man family over on Discord. We have a free 14-day trial at the moment. It's just £2 a month, and every penny goes back into making the channel hopefully even more awesome. Our NES hunt starts this time in not-so-sunny Lowestoft, the most easterly settlement in the whole of the UK. But we're not here for the beach this time. We are here because this is one town with two amazing independent game stores. The first of which is Games Exchange, and this is a proper old-school game store. It is stacked from floor to ceiling, and literally these PlayStation 2 games were stacked to the heavens. They have an absolutely incredible selection of games, including some very minty boxed retro. But of course, this time we are hunting for NES games, and I was speaking to the owner of this shop, and he said he is really having problems sourcing NES games at the moment. And like I said, even though they had an incredible selection of both modern and retro games, sadly their NES game selection was rather sparse. Only 2 or 3 games, but like he said, and like we are finding, it is getting harder and harder to find NES games. So, one store down and no luck, but thankfully this is just the first of 2 stores here in Lowestoft. Our second stop whilst in Lowestoft was the phone and game shop, and once again they had an incredible selection of both retro and modern games, including one of the best selections of disc-based games I've seen in years. So many uncommon and rare games, but unfortunately once again the owner said he's been struggling to find NES games. So no luck whilst in Lowestoft, but our luck changed back home. Recently I got very lucky on eBay. Now I'm trying to find the majority of these NES games in the wild per se, but sometimes you just get an offer you cannot refuse, and this was such a good deal I just couldn't pass it up. But a little bit of context first. Last year I decided to try and build the Super Star Wars trilogy on the SNES, but I wanted to pick up these games as minty as possible, and I managed to find all 3 of these games last year at various gaming markets all around the UK. But of course there is another Star Wars game which was released around this time on the NES, and that game is in this bag right here, and once again this is in very minty condition, and this game is Star Wars on the NES. I picked this up off eBay for just £24, and for context, CEX sell this for £35, so over a tenner cheaper to pick it up off eBay, and this is in really good condition for some 40-year-old cardboard, which is kind of surprising considering it came in just a padded envelope, which is bad eBay. But I did put it straight into a box protector, and I wouldn't say this one is mint, but it's in very, very nice condition. And like I said, this is 40-year-old cardboard. There is a little bit of sticker residue on the front here, which is tempting to try and Google on, but once again, because it's 40 years old, I may leave it. It is, of course, boxed and complete with the manual and also with the official Nintendo dust cover. It's a really cool manual, and quite randomly it opens the opposite way around than you'd expect. But yeah, very happy to add this one to the collection for a fraction of the CEX price. Recently, I headed to Ipswich to play a gig with my band Self-Made Hell, because if you didn't know, I play in a metal band. And of course, before the show, we decided to do a bit of game hunting. So we started off in CX, where they only had a very small selection of NES games, and honestly, they weren't in fantastic condition. But just up the road is Cash Exchange, an absolutely incredible pawn shop. One of the best pawn shops I think I've ever visited, and they always have an incredible selection of retro games. Now, I didn't have the biggest budget for this game hunt, which was a real shame, as they had some really nice NES games in both loose and boxed. And as I said at the start of this episode, this time we found a surprisingly large amount of boxed NES goodness, and well, this just speaks for itself. Check these games out. Incredible condition, but unfortunately today, at my price range. You may be wondering why I'm not splurging and jumping on these NES games. That's because anytime I visit Ipswich, there's always one place I have to hit up, and that is the Retro Realm, one of my favourite independent gaming stores here on the East Coast. And even though we only visited recently, I saw on Facebook they'd recently had a very large trade-in of NES games. So whilst in Ipswich, it'd be rude not to visit and find out if there's anything we can add to the collection. And as you can see, there's a very good selection of NES games here. Loads and loads of loose games at really good prices. But unfortunately, nothing I'm seeing so far for our list. But of course, I'm always up for adding bonus games to the collection, like The Karate Kid, an absolutely iconic 80s film, which I never knew got an NES game. There was a really good selection of loose games here, but I was most excited for the boxed games, as I saw on Facebook they'd recently had a very large trade-in of boxed NES games in very nice condition. Now, I didn't have the largest budget, but the Retro Realm always has incredible prices, and I knew we'd be able to add something awesome to the collection. I was like a kid in a candy shop. I knew I was going to come away with something awesome. I just had to see what it was going to be, and the hardest part was going to be choosing. Check this out, that this entire bottom shelf is filled with boxed NES goodness, and most of these games were in absolutely incredible condition. And like I said, the hardest part was going to be choosing which game to pick up. I was tempted to pick up Tetris, but as you can see, it did have some box damage, so even though it's on the list, I did decide to pass. But this was very high on my list. Once again, even though it's not on our list, Operation Wolf was one of my favourite and first 8-bit games I ever played. Gauntlet 2 I think we already have in a collection. It's a really good one to pick up if you're looking for cheap bangers. Battleship is a game I'd never realised had an NES release, but spoiler alert, more about that game later in the episode. But like I said, there was a lot of games here. Sadly, not many we needed for the NES Top 40 at 40 specifically, but some really nice games. And it was just a pleasure to be able to dig through all this box NES goodness. This one again was tempting. The Simpsons Bart vs. the Space Mutants, a fiendishly hard game. Batman, because the artwork of this one is absolutely fire. I am just very quickly falling in love with boxed NES games. I know from the start of the NES Top 40 at 40, we didn't aim for boxed games, but it's getting harder to resist. Like I said then, I just couldn't resist picking up some more boxed NES goodness from the Retro Realm in Ipswich, and it is a game which isn't on our list, but I'm always looking for extra games to add to my NES collection, and this one has a special place in my heart. It is Operation Wolf. Now, this was one of the first games I ever played back in the day on the Master System, and I love light gun games, and this was one of the first light gun games I ever played, and just really started that passion I had for that genre of games. This was £20, is in really nice condition. I did once again put it in a box protector because 40-year-old plastic needs protecting. It's in incredible condition. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the manual, but I was very happy to pick this one up. And the main reason was just this blurb on the front, because honestly, just imagine a trailer with this blurb. The time has come for someone to teach a terrorist what terror is all about. The only way to stop them is to get in, strike hard, and get out fast. Terrorists be warned. Operation Wolf is coming. The world's #1 arcade game from Taito. Take no prisoners. Operation Wolf. Available now for the NES. But that's not all, folks. We have one final pickup this time. Now, you may be wondering why I had a finite budget when we were NES hunting in Ipswich. Well, on the way to Ipswich, I was perusing Facebook Marketplace, as I often do whilst travelling, and I came across an absolutely amazing deal. NES games on Facebook Marketplace, local to me here in the fine city of Norwich. I messaged the seller and he said I could collect them the very next day. And they were also selling quite possibly the mintiest NES boxed console I'd ever seen. But speaking of boxed, these weren't just NES games, these were boxed NES games, and at a bargain price of just £60. That's right, folks, we are closing off this episode with even more boxed NES goodness. I managed to pick up these 5 boxed and complete NES games for just £60. And some of these are in absolutely incredible condition. Starting off with this one right here, NES Open Tournament Golf with Mario on the cover. This is one of the mintiest NES games I've ever seen. I spoke to the person selling these and he basically said these just went up into an attic nearly 40 years ago, and the condition of these is absolutely breathtaking. And he said he had a lot of interest in this item, so I'm very pleased that he let me pick these up the next day. Now, I have to be very careful with these because, like I said, these are in incredible condition. So this is so complete. It even has the mail away for Club Nintendo. It has the polystyrene in the bottom. If you know, you know. It has one of the crispiest NES posters I've ever seen. I'm not going to unfold this because I don't think it's ever been unfolded. It has the cartridge in the official dust thing there, and an incredibly crispy manual. And this is just the first of 5 incredible games I picked up off Facebook Marketplace. The second game in this bundle is a game I don't think I've ever heard of. Ultimate Air Combat by a little known company called Activision. Yep, that Activision. Now, this one isn't in quite as good condition, but once again, this is in incredible condition. I wouldn't say as minty as the last because that's very difficult, but this one's still in really nice condition for its age. It has got some sticker residue on the front, which I am tempted to try and Goo Gone off, but I don't know if it will damage the cardboard more, so I am quite tempted to leave that one. This one does come, of course, complete. Quite weirdly, this one comes in a little plastic bag. I don't think I've ever seen that for any NES games. And does have the instructions in here, once again in really nice condition. That's 2 down, 3 to go. Next up is another NES game I never knew existed until I saw this bundle. Then, somewhat ironically, I saw it in the retro realm. It is Battleship, based on the popular board game, and I can't imagine this was a massive seller back in the day. I can't imagine loads of kids were lining up to play Battleship on their NES, but I digress. Once again, this one is in really nice condition for age, and remember, I got all 5 of these games for £60, and once again, this one is boxed and complete in absolutely incredible condition. We have the manual, we have some paper, we have another poster which has never been unfurled and never will be, and then we have the cart once again in incredible condition. But we still have 2 more games for this incredible bundle. Our penultimate game once again features everyone's favourite plumber on the cover. It is Dr. Mario. Now, I think this is a really underappreciated puzzle game, a really good game. And somewhat unshockingly at this point, this is in a very good condition once again. Now, this is a game I did already own in my collection, but this is an upgrade because my copy is nowhere near this minty. It will come as no surprise that this is in complete condition with the official Nintendo dust sleeve, the cart, and once again a minty manual and an unfurled poster. Seriously, whoever owned these games loved them almost as much as I surely will. Which brings us to the 5th and final game in this bundle, and the main reason I wanted to pick up this bundle because this is the only game in this bundle which was on our list of games we were specifically hunting for. Now the seller was selling these at £15 each, 2 for 30 or all of them for 60, and I just thought for the value in this bundle, for £60 for 5 games, I just had to go all in and grab them all because, like I've said throughout this series, it is not very often you see boxed NES games, especially in this condition. And this final game this clinched the deal for me. It is Donkey Kong Classics, a game which had to be on this list of 40 games I needed for my NES collection. It is an arcade classic, and if you excuse the pun, and once again, in incredible condition. It is, of course, complete with the manual and the cartridge. Amazing condition, official Nintendo dust sleeve. Yeah, it's not very often, especially these days, you find bundles like this, especially on Facebook Marketplace, but it just goes to show, folks, the deals are still out there. There we have it then, folks. That was another episode of the NES Top 40 at 40. And this time, the games we found have left me with a conundrum, because when I pick these games up, open them up, flip through the manuals, look through the box art, I'm taken back to my childhood of going to the game shops, pulling a game off the shelf, just poring over it, just looking at the artwork, the screenshots, reading descriptions like this one on the front of Operation Wolf, and it's kind of awakened something inside me. I've kind of realised maybe I am going to have to become a boxed NES collector. I said at the start of this series, we're not aiming for boxed games. We will just pick up these games loose because, of course, the main thing is playing these games. But as I handle this 40-year-old box cardboard, I've realised something in me has shifted. And for better or worse, I am now a boxed NES collector because these little cardboard boxes just bring me so much joy. And just look how many games we've managed to add to the collection this time, and it just goes to show, like I said, the deals are still out there. And I'm afraid I have to say it, I'm gonna become a boxed NES collector because these up on the shelves are gonna look absolutely beautiful. So I guess things have shifted. We're now aiming for boxed NES games. It's gonna be tough, but it's gonna be worth it. But for now, enough looking at these games, it's time to play them. I hope you join me in playing some of these NES bangers. If not, I will see you on the next episode of the NES Top 40. And remember, as always, life begins at 40 and we only grow old because we stop playing. See you soon! Let's play some NES games then, and quite simply because sadly I cannot spend the entire day gaming as much as I want to, we're just going to play the NES games this time we picked up which were on our list. Starting off with Star Wars, if you didn't guess. And after playing the SNES versions of the Star Wars games, I have a feeling this is going to be a very tough game. This is going to be old school hard, so let's just get into it and begin the pain. And straight away, I am loving the 8-bit graphics on this one. Like, if you're not having a seizure, you can tell this is obviously the opening of the very first Star Wars movie, and that is quite intense, but it does really kind of demonstrate it in this 8-bit style. But like I said, the Star Wars games I have played on the SNES are super difficult, and I can only imagine this one's going to be tough as well. Okay, so it looks like it's my main enemy platforming. So I guess we have to dodge time the slime. Now I am playing this on kind of a emulation console, so that's why you're getting a little bit of screen tear. But that was close. But so far it seems, those last words, seems a lot easier than the Star Wars games I've played before. Even though I can't really remember a bit in the original Star Wars A New Hope when any of this happened, but you know, I digress. Ooh, different gun. I'm happy the exit is kind of labelled for us there. So we actually get to fly like kind of like speeder as well. No idea where we have to actually go, but not towards that, wherever that was. Now, this was always the problem with kind of these older NES games. It doesn't really tell you what you're meant to be doing a vast majority of the time. I'm guessing we're going the right way, because much like life, if there's enemies, chances are you are going the right way. Yeah, I guess we're going in this cave. So not actually any enemies per se yet. So we're going upwards in this cave though, rather than to the side. So there we go. Start our jumps. Oh, here we go. Guys, we can do it for a platformer. It's going all right. I'm not doing too bad, but there's always that one jump that kind of catches me off. Oh, what are these? Boulders. Turn to Indiana Jones. Oh, we can't shoot the boulders. Okay, so this is kind of future echoes of playing Donkey Kong in the main game we'll be playing straight after this one. So we're going to have to kind of jump over the boulders in preparation for jumping over some barrels later. Oh, no, come on, no. Right, okay, we're still good, we're good. If you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you'll know one of my main weaknesses is platform games. I am not very good at them because I'm not very good at timing jumps, but you know, I think I'm actually doing pretty well if I do say so myself, which could be famous last words when you have one life left, but it seems like an overtly long jump. I'll tell you what though, controls on this, very tight. Very functional controls. Right, we have to do this jump timed with the slime. Oh wow, these jumps are getting bigger. No, I am very impressed with this game. After playing the Star Wars games on the SNES, I was worried this one was going to be like impossibly hard. That jump's ridiculous though. Like absolute joke of a jump. But to be honest, if you're going to pick up a retro Star Wars game, I would probably recommend this one over the Super Star Wars games. Yes, they may have better graphics, but honestly, for difficulty, at least this one isn't quite as brutal. Do you know what game I've never been very good at? That's right, it's Donkey Kong. I have never been very good at Donkey Kong. So let's find out if we can do any better today, and I'm guessing probably not. I've just always been awful at this game, even though it's an absolute classic, timeless game that's kind of been re-released in various iterations over many, many years. I just can't seem to get the timing. Go away. See what I mean? Now, please don't hate on me in the comments. We can't all be good at every single game. Some people are good at Dark Souls games. Some people, like myself, are good at first-person shooters. Some people are good at platformers and arcade games, and I am not. This is my kryptonite. I am not good at timing the jumps or timing when to go up here. I would have been... That's just harsh to be attacked from the side and above. I would be the kind of sucker back in the day in the arcades who would just keep putting coins in, thinking, you know what, I'll get there next time. I am quite determined to get to the top of this first stage, but yeah, this game, ever since I played it back in the day on the OG Game Boy, I have been terrible at Donkey Kong because I just can't seem to get the timings right. Because every time I seem to make one jump, I get screwed by the next one. Oh, game over. Right. Not going out like that. We'll give it one more go. Even though, like I said, it's a classic, yes, but I'm not good at it. Because I've heard that music so many times. I feel like the music's kind of laughing at you. It just feels like... I'm sure there's loads of tips and like ways to make this easier. Like, where are you going, Barrel? You're going to come down here, right? Absolute why? Just... Oh. Like I said, it's a classic, but it's very infuriating. I just feel like the music's really derpy. It's like, wop, 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 you are not very good at this game. Ha, 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 ha. It's like, mate, I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. Perseverance. We've got one more attempt. I think it's actually started like a hatred for Donkey Kong for many, many years. Oh dear. Oh, arcade games, you were so much harder. So much harder. Because there's no kind of... Oh, you're going to come down the ladder, aren't you? No. Oh, baby. Ooh, that would have wound me up, Royale. We're going to do it, boys. We're going to do it. Oh. Hooray! There we go. I am going to 100% quit while I'm ahead, but I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope you catch me on the next episode of the NES Top 40 at 40. And remember, life begins at 40, and when you grow old, because we stop playing. See y'all soon.